What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. So MacKenzie Scott divorced her husband and she has been making it rain ever since. Okay. Shout out to philanthropist MacKenzie Scott. Her recent run of blockbuster gifts continues. And this past week, Scott has donated $170 million to three historically black colleges and universities. Howard University received $80 million, Virginia State University received $50 million, and Alcorn State University received $42 million. These gifts, and then we have here, I put Spelman also received $38 million. So she's continuing. This is the fourth article that just came out today, but my girl's on a roll. Okay. So shout out to MacKenzie. These gifts come on top of more than $300 million that she's already donated to several other institutions and higher education organizations in the recent weeks. Scott has given $80 million to Washington, D.C., Howard University, HU, according to today's Washington Post. Of that total, $63 million will go toward the entire university, and the remaining 17 reserved for expanding Howard's medical school. Howard is one of only four HBCUs with a medical school. The interim president, Wayne Frederick, told the Post that he plans to use the donation to train more medical professionals, upgrade facilities for the growing university, and to starve off the effects of the government's more than a month long shutdown. Let me tell you something. This is truly a blessing for Howard because you guys remember when those students were taking, it was big on TikTok a while back. They were taking all kind of videos of the dorms. Some were dilapidated, some had mold. Um, a lot of students were saying that they were like they would get to all the way up to their senior year, and then all these extra fees would come on their student accounts, and they're like, what's going on, holding up their graduation. So MacKenzie, that was a blessing truly for Howard. I'm sure all the schools could use these gifts, but a lot of students weren't putting weren't on TikTok putting Howard on blast like that. And then I forgot who it was. I think his name was like, I forget what his name was. That they were saying he frauded uh, Howard, and he was he had on like all these really expensive clothes or whatever, and he was this meme. And they were saying he was living his life like it was stolen. Anyway, he worked in the financial aid office. It was a big scandal back then. He worked in the financial aid office and somehow allegedly embezzled all this money from Howard. I'm just like, Howard, I love the school. I visited when I was in eighth grade for our school field trip. And I back then, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a bison and all this stuff. And I ended up going to a school that was a little bit closer to home, but much love to Howard and MacKenzie Scott. Let's keep going. Combined with the 2020 gift of $40 million and $12 million in 2023, Scott's recent contributions to Howard now total $132 million. On October 30th, Scott donated $50 million to Virginia State University, the largest gift in that HBCU's history. It was her second major gift to the institution in the last 5 years. In 2020, she donated $30 million to Virginia State. Ms. Scott's generosity and trust in our mission will change the trajectory of Virginia State University for generations to come, said the president, Makola Abdullah, in a news release. Her investment allows us to continue to build upon our legacy of excellence and expand our reach to more students who deserve access to a world class education. Alcorn State University received a $42 million donation, which is unrestricted, from Scott last week. It represents the largest single gift in the 154-year history of the nation's oldest public HBCU. Scott previously donated $25 million to Alcorn State in 2020, bringing her total contributions to $67 million. Today marks a historic moment for Alcorn State University as we celebrate the largest single donation in our university's history, Dr. Tracy M. Cook said, president of Alcorn State University. We are immensely grateful for Ms. MacKenzie Scott's continued investment in Alcorn, our students, and mission to create access. I also extend my deepest gratitude to our students, faculty and staff, alumni, and supporters who champion our mission every day. Your unwavering commitment and belief in Alcorn State University makes milestones like this possible. Scott's recent higher education giving has focused on HBCUs and nonprofits that promote higher education, access, and affordability for traditionally underserved students of color. Her philanthropy has been a major source of support for diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at the very time such initiatives have been singled out for a sustained attack from the Trump administration. With these three new gifts, Scott has recently donated more than $300 million to 6 HBCUs. The others are $63 million to Morgan State University, $38 million to Spelman College, another $38 million to Alabama State University, $38 million to the University of Maryland. In addition, she gave $70 million to the United Negro College Fund in September, which will also be invested in the UNCF Members Pooled Endowment Fund designed to strengthen the financial stability of its 37 member institutions. MacKenzie Scott is the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. Forbes estimates her net worth to be more than $33 billion, most of which came from her divorce settlement in 2019 when she received a 4% stake in Amazon. In May of 2019, Scott signed the Giving Pledge, promising to give away at least half of her wealth over the course of her lifetime. See, now that's what I'm talking about. Because MacKenzie Scott is so rare in the fact that all these billionaires that have come about in these, last years, like in the 50s and I think even like in the 60s, we didn't have this abundance of billionaires. The taxes were a lot more, equitable. But if you are blessed to become a billionaire, right? And you see that there's this huge wealth disparity and you can do something about it. Like even back in the day when there were multimillionaires, like, with Carnegie, like he built, Carnegie Hall, and they would donate to libraries and donate to like wings of, universities and things like that. That's what I'm talking about, MacKenzie. Like, this is the type of billionaires that we need to make the world better. Not to spend all this, ridiculous amount of money sending spaceships to Mars and whatever else. You know what I mean? Like, that's great to explore other planets, but let's take care of this one first. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the US, you know, Elon Musk came here all the way from South Africa, ain't put a doorknob on the building. Like he has gotten so many tax breaks, and it's like he does nothing to actually give back to the country that has made him so wealthy, or even back to his homeland to keep it a buck. But we're sticking here because American tax dollars are going to, Argentina and going to Ukraine and going to just all these different countries overseas. And it's like, hello, because I work hard and I would love if my tax dollars would take care of home first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So that's why I'm like, MacKenzie got, all this money from her divorce settlement. She actually signed a pledge, which is extremely noble of her, by the way, to give away half of her wealth during her lifetime. That is a lot of money. And I'm so happy that she is not someone who is, unwilling to help people who might not necessarily look like her or come from her same background. Like I love the fact that she's willing to give to HBCUs and nonprofits because I feel like you can learn something from everyone. We're all made different for a reason. And so I feel like MacKenzie Scott is, in my opinion, she seems to be like the opposite of her ex-husband. Because Amazon workers, their conditions, them peeing in the back of their trucks because they weren't allowed to take bathroom breaks, it just seems like they're polar opposites. And I get opposites attract, but I'm glad that, she decided to divorce him and now do something good with her money, right? Not just spend it frivolously, but to actually invest in institutions that are molding and shaping the minds of the future of America. I absolutely love, and nonprofits. I don't want to forget that nonprofit organizations as well. Scott's philosophy of giving allows the nonprofits to which she donates to have full control over how they use her gifts. In a recent post, she praised the generosity of small donors and many volunteers who work on behalf of others, writing that while her latest round of major gifts would attract a lot of news, any dollar amount is a tiny fraction of the personal expressions of care being shared into the world this year. I absolutely love that. I feel like she is, a phenomenal woman, that she is, like I said, doing something positive with her wealth, not just buying, you know, extra yachts and just spending it, frivolously, like throwing, lavish great Gatsby parties while other people are starving and, having a really difficult time during this holiday season. I love it. This is some good news that I needed today. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.